AD, LeBron, Drain, down the track. Look out!
We just saw, which is probably the most crazy trade deadline of all time, from guys like Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, De'Aaron Fox getting moved. So I'm going to grade all the major trades that happened this deadline. This trade makes no sense. Nobody still knows what happens. I think everyone's heard about it, but if you haven't, it was Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and a first basically went to Dallas for Luka Doncic, and it's still the craziest trade of all time. For the Lakers, I would give them an A plus because some people are a little questionable with the fit and like how it's going to work having Luka Doncic and LeBron James, and them both being playmaking ball handlers. But in my mind, I think it will still work for the now because I think LeBron's going to be able to play off ball. He's a very smart player. I think he'll be able to fit. But I think this trade is more for the future, and that the team with probably the worst future in the league, the Lakers, which had aging stars and no picks, now have a 25-year-old superstar that may be able to carry their franchise for the next 10 years. And then for the Mavericks, I'm going to give them a D. I still think they're going to be a good team, but they're not better than they were with Luka, and their future's not better than they were with Luka. So I don't see any benefit of this trade. D's probably being generous, but if I had to give them a grade, I'd give them a D. Now I'm going to be looking at the De'Aaron Fox trade, which is a crazy trade that happened right after the Luka trade. In it, we saw De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin go to San Antonio. Sacramento got Zach LaVine, Sidney Casacco, 3 firsts and 3 seconds. And the Bulls got a couple players. I'm not going to worry too much about the Bulls. We're going to do the major trades in this video. We can look at those other ones in another video. For San Antonio, I think this is a great trade. They got to keep their main guys like Keldon Johnson, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan. They somehow kept all those guys and got an all-star talent in De'Aaron Fox to pair beside Victor Wembanyama is going to be an insane duo going in the future. And then Sacramento, they did okay. They definitely got screwed a bit by De'Aaron Fox only having one team he wanted to go to, which definitely hurt them. So they probably did decent, but still, I would have preferred if they could have got other players, such as some of the other young guys in the Spurs. And Zach LaVine, they have this weird thing where they're trying to contend, but they don't really have the talent to. So I think if I had to give it grades for each team, I'd give the Spurs, I think, would be an A, not A plus, maybe A minus. And then the Sacramento Kings, I'd probably give a B minus. The Jimmy Butler saga finally concluded, and he is a Warrior. And after a lot of speculation of where he's going to go, he ended up getting traded for Aaron Wiggins and some picks. And those were the main parts of the package. There was a couple other moving pieces, but I'd say those are the main things that went around. And for each team, if I had to look at this in total, I would say the Warriors, if I had a grade, I'd probably give them around a B plus. I think he's not the perfect fit, but honestly, the Warriors with all this aging core just need to go all in. And the last time we've seen Jimmy Butler in the playoffs, he led a team to the finals. Not saying he's still that good, but he definitely has that potential. And then for the Heat, I thought it was a solid package what they got back for Jimmy. I'd probably grade him around also a B plus. I'd probably give them both B pluses. And I think Andrew Wiggins is gonna play very well, and I think he's gonna fit actually surprisingly well around this core that the Heat's kind of building, and I think they could be a fun team to watch. So yeah, that's what I grade. Okay, the last trade I'm going to be looking at is Brandon Ingram to the Raptors for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first round pick, and a second round pick. So for the Raptors perspective, I'd probably give them I'm gonna give them A minus. I don't know. I think this move is like when the Rockets signed Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, and now look at them now. The Raptors have a young team, and I think adding Brandon Ingram and some vet is just going to give them experience to where next year, when everybody's healthy, because they've been really injured this year, they could be a solid team that's contending for that like fifth seed. Because if you look at it now, that fifth, fourth seed is like the Pacers. And I think with Brandon Ingram, and if everyone takes jumps up like Scotty and Grady, I think they could be a much better team than like a Pacers. And then for the New Orleans Pelicans, I think I'd give them maybe, I guess, a B. They got off Brandon Ingram. They didn't get a whole bunch back, but it doesn't have a big effect on them. Okay. Thanks for watching this video. These are all my gradings. Consider liking and subscribing, and comment below if you agree.